I got a question for you.
Okay.
All right, I'm recording a video right now. I am recording this call right now. I'm going over hotdogstand.lol. Is there anything you want to tell my audience?
What?
All right, so I have something really fun and stupid to show you today on the terminal. I'm not going to waste any time. Let's jump right into it. All right, so here we are. We're in the terminal, and take a look at this. We got some output up here. All right, pretty cool. We're going to curl -L. We're going to follow redirects. I'll explain that more later. Hotdogstand.lol. Yes, that's a real website, and that is the real domain. Let's go ahead and curl it, and look at this. There you go. Now we have a beautiful, amazing color scheme that we can work with here. Nice red and yellow. Super easy on the eye. Super accessible. Super great to look at. So yeah, that's it. End of video. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to break down what this is and why it works. But before I do that, I want to show you something else we can do. Let's go ahead and reset the terminal. I'm going to want you guys to know this is really useful. Just type reset, hit enter. It does not reboot your computer. It sends a specific string of characters to the terminal to reset it back to normal. So we have this. We can also curl party.hotdogstand.lol. Now here's the thing, party.hotdogstand.lol is going to continuously send us data, and we don't want to buffer it. So with curl, we can give it a -N, and this will stop the buffering. Again, I'll explain more of this later. So we run this, and now we have a party where it just goes back and forth, and it looks horrendous. It looks like when you have like a regular Nintendo plugged in, there's no cartridge, and it blinks like white and blue or whatever, except, you know, this one's just more hideous. So there we go. There's our party. As you can see, it kind of just ends here, so that's not great. So let's go ahead and reset that. Let's run the party in the background, and hey, look at this. Now it's running in the background, so we are free to just use our terminal as we want. So I could like Vim a file if I wanted to. I could Vim Etsy password, and that looks horrendous. And yeah, let's go ahead, and if you reset here, it's not going to work. Well, like it will reset, but then it's still running in the background. So you're going to want to kill %%, which was the last backgrounded job. Then we'll run reset, and we are back to normal. So yeah, what is happening here? I want to break this down because it is very stupid if you've never seen this before. This is hotdogstand.lol. This was created by Bad Cop, friend of the channel, Bad Cop. She's awesome. You guys know her if you watch my streams. She makes some weird stuff. She is responsible for the Bash stack, which is a Bash HTML web server stack where you can do routing and everything in Bash alone, which is sickening. So yeah, this is one of her creations, which makes perfect sense because she makes just the weirdest stuff. Mad respect for it. All right, so I want to break down how this works because as you noticed before, we did hotdogstand.lol. You run this with -L, and it gives you this horrible color scheme. That's awful. Let's reset it. Let's go back here and run it without the -L. Why is that necessary? Well, that tells it to follow redirects. So as you can see, we don't actually get any output here. That's because we're getting a code that's not a 200. We could run it with -I, and this will print the headers. And you can see that we're getting a 301. This is a permanent redirect, and the location tells us where it wants us to go. So as you can see, take a look at this. It wants us to use HTTPS. That's why we're using the -L, so we can omit the HTTPS. It will be an HTTPS response or request after the initial request is made. We can circumvent this if we wanted to. We can do HTTPS:// and we get the same thing. But we can avoid the redirect there. Not that it matters. As you can see, I think from that redirect, did I see Cloudflare? Yeah, that makes sense. You can see report to Cloudflare. It looks like it's using a Cloudflare proxy sat in front of the server. That makes sense. It's very common. You see that. So what's actually happening here? Well, we can do curl -L hotdogstand.lol, and we can redirect this to a file. And this can demystify a lot of what's going on here. All right, so let's take a look at this new file that we have and see what's inside it. If we open it with Vim, we're not going to run any sort of like dangerous stuff that's inside the file. I say run the because I don't want to spoil what was inside the file, which are, of course, ANSI escape codes. So we have ANSI escape sequences here. This looks like a bunch of gibberish, but as you can see, these like blue lines are actually special. They're just one character. They are the ANSI escape code, which of course starts an ANSI escape sequence. I go over this all in my Bash course. If you want to learn more about it, I'll have it linked in the description. If you want to learn more about Bash, that's the only plug I got for this video. So that's a special byte that tells the terminal to do something. So if we were to look at, we can use viz on foo.txt. I have this. If you're on FreeBSD, I'm on my Mac. I have this viz command. If you're on Linux, you probably have cat -v. This is very similar. This is a way of safely visualizing the file or turning the unsafe control characters into safe characters. So we get this instead of the actual escape character itself. So what is the escape character? Well, you may have seen it before. If you've ever seen code like this, where it's like echo -e, and then you might have like this, I don't know, 31M, hello, and then minus E, open this, 0M, and then you close it and you run it, and look, we have red text here. There's a space before and after because I put a space here and a space here, just so you watching the video could better understand it. This is an escape sequence, and to open an escape sequence, you need the escape character. So this is a single byte that gets emitted, and then we have an open square bracket, a number, and then an M here. So in this case, even though it looks like two characters, it's a single byte, and then we have a closing square bracket instead of the opening square bracket, and then the code 4, and then a bunch of stuff given to the code 4, and then we close it using this notation here. So it's a little advanced, but it still is an ANSI escape sequence. That's what's going on there. In fact, if I were to do something like, so here's the ANSI escape character itself. There's going to be a new line emitted with it. If we pipe it to XXD, we can visualize it. We can see 1B, that's the escape character, and then 0A, that is a new line. So new line character is 10 in hex. And 1B over here is the escape character. Of course, we could also echo minus E X 1B, so that's hex 1B, pipe that to XXD, and we can get the same thing. We could also omit the new line if you wanted to, so you can just see, okay, that we get an exact 1B because that's what we're putting here. We could also give it, you may have seen it in octal, this is very common. So 33 octal is 1B in hex, which is the same as 27 in decimal. I don't know, someone will have to fact check me on that. I think it's 27. I almost never deal with it in decimal. So yeah, that's the escape character itself. So let's go back to this file though, because I'm kind of getting all over the place. So we cat foo.txt, you pipe it to viz or whatever, and we have this. That's something. We can kind of see what's going on here. Let's take this character. Okay, this might be easy. Let's take that character and replace it. So we'll replace that character with a new line. This will just make it easier to read. And there we go. It's a little bit wonky, but this is what the server is returning to us. This is what our terminal is processing. So as you can see here, we have like the escape character, we have this closing brace right here, and then we have a 4 here, and then we have 0, and then what looks like a hex color. Now, if you know your hex color, you know it's R, then G, then B, so this means red. Well, that makes perfect sense. When you look at the hotdogstand output, we get red and yellow. So we have red here, and then we have all red turned on and all green turned on without any blue. What do you get when you mix red and green? You get yellow. So we have red up here, and then everything else is yellow. So we have 4 semicolon 0, 4 semicolon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down to 15. So starting at 0, going to 15, that's 16 possible things. And then we do a 10 here, an 11, a 12, a 13, then a 17, then a 19, then a, it's very confusing. Let me show you how to actually understand this. Okay, so I pulled this up before, but I really, really like it. It's the documentation for Ghost TTY or Ghosty. This is a terminal. I've never actually tried it myself. I probably should. I really do like their documentation. They do a great job of documenting all the terminal and like escape codes and all the different ways that terminals work. Super useful, super awesome. So as you can see here, we have control sequences. This is basically what's going on here, and we can figure out what kind of control sequence that was. There's a whole bunch of them. So as you can see, we have that escape code, but then we have, if there's an open square bracket like we did with that color, that's the beginning of a CSI or control sequence introducer. If we have this closing square bracket, remember, that's what we have going on here. We have that escape character, and then we immediately have that closing square bracket and then the number 4. Well, let's go back to that documentation. We have that closing square bracket. That is an OSC. That's an operating system command. So this might be a little bit of a modern extension to a terminal. Modern is doing a lot of heavy lifting there. This could be kind of old. I don't actually know what the date is. So yeah, we go down to OSC commands, and there's a whole bunch. You can see OSC 0, change the window icon and title. OSC 1, OSC 2, OSC 4. Starting to see what's going on here. Query or change palette colors. So OSC 4 is responsible for changing the color palette of the terminal, which makes sense. That's exactly what's going on, right? So look at this. Here's the anatomy of the sequence. We have the escape character. We have the closing square bracket. We have the number 4, a semicolon, something, a semicolon, something, the escape sequence, and then a literal slash. So that's what's going on there. I said escape sequence, I meant escape character. The whole thing itself is a sequence. So take a look at this. We have N and we have C. So if C is given as a single character, then the terminal will respond with the color specification of the color at index N. If C is a valid color, then the palette is changed to it. So as we can see here, C in this case would be like, let's go up here. C is this one right here, which is red, which is a valid color. So we're changing color palette 0 to red. We're changing color palette 1 to yellow. Color palette 2 becomes yellow. 3 becomes yellow. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way down here. Color palette 15 becomes yellow. So that's what's going on there. We're changing the color palettes, red for the main one and then yellow for all the other ones. Then we have some more down here. Take a look at this. OSC 10, 11, 12, 13, 17, 19. So what's going on over here? Pull the documentation, go down to OSC down here, and we can see that we have OSC 10 through 19, query or change dynamic colors. So again, this is very similar. I don't actually know the specifics here. When n is between 10 and 19 inclusive, either query or change the dynamic color corresponding to n, depending on the value of c. Oh, interesting. It's not for the palette itself. This is where we change the foreground color, the background color, the cursor color, the pointer foreground color. I think we skip, yeah, we go from 13 to 17 and 19. So we skip these. I don't know what Tektronix is. We do 17, we skip the Tektronix, and we do 19. Okay, interesting. So we change all of these colors. And then if we go back here, as you can see, here's the 11, 12, 13, 17, 19. We have 4 232, 4 256. We already know what 4 is. I don't know what color 232 is. I don't know what color 256 is. I don't know what kind of weird extension this is. I've never seen that before. And then we have OSC 708. So let's pull up the documentation, and I already have a hunch, and my hunch is right. I have no idea what 708 is. It's gotta be some specific code to some specific terminal. If you guys know what it is, go ahead and put it in the comments. That'd be super nice, because I have no idea what OSC 708 is. But when these powers combined, we get some gnarly effects. So can we recreate some of this? Well, of course we can. Let's go ahead and try to recreate some of this ourselves. So we have this example up here. We can do the -any, and then we can give it these things in order. So this right here looks like our escape character. This whole thing on its own is the escape character. So let's try and reconstruct this. So if we have \E, that's our escape character. Then we need the close, the for, blah, 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 blah. Let's go ahead and just copy this down here. Now we're back here. This is the escape character again, itself. So let's go ahead and put that back in there. And I think all we need is what, the \. I don't know why it's giving it to us in 134 notation. I think we can just put a \, here, and that should be sufficient. So if we run that, okay, so that does nothing. Do we have to update all of these? I'm gonna be honest, I don't actually know which color palette is going to do what, but we can automate this for I in 0.15. So this is 0 up to 15 inclusively. We can change this to, let's unclose this, change this to $I, quote it again, put it done here. There we go. Now we've gone through and set every single color palette. Cool, but that hasn't actually changed anything. So maybe it's the next one that actually makes an effect here, or maybe my terminal just isn't using these color palettes and this is just doing every possible escape sequence to try and get my terminal changed so it has maximum portability. I don't actually know the answer to that question. I never mess with color palettes with ANSI escape sequences like this. So we go up here, we still have some more. We have, remember, the 10 over here, which I think was foreground color, background color, highlight color, all that stuff. So let's try 10 instead of 4. That might just be simple enough. So if we change this to 10 instead of 4, and then we get rid of this. All right. Well, that works. Okay. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Now, the cool thing is this is actually just RGB color. So I can just set this to like FFF. Can I do 3? I can do 3. Okay. So if I do 0, 0, 0, it should be black. That was the dumbest idea. Why? I didn't even think before I did that. I did not even think for a second before I did that. How stupid. This is so interesting because it doesn't... Oh, great. I can't see. Wow, I got lucky. Okay. That's so much brighter than I usually have it. There we go. I can kind of dim it up a little bit for you guys. Oh, that's kind of nice. Yes, I should be able to put whatever color I want here. So like 0F0 should give me RGB green. There we go. That looks good. Green and blue together, you get this nice like cyan color. Okay, that's kind of cool. Maybe a little bit of 8 here, so half of it. So we get this weird kind of light green color. That's kind of cool. I'm sure it's an accessibility nightmare. I'm sorry for anyone watching it with like impaired or reduced vision, because this is probably awful. But yeah, this is kind of fun to mess with that. That's really cool. So what was 11? 11 was the background color. Oh my, I didn't think this one through, guys. Oh, I can see the cursor. Look at this. I can actually kind of, I can see when I highlight it. Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and change this. What was I thinking? Oh, okay, we're good. We're good. Okay, so that's basically what's happening there. That's very clever. That's cute. I like that. So technically speaking, we could make like our own that goes back and forth between two colors. So if we had like 0, 0, 0 here, we could do something like for color, or let's do 4C in, I don't know, 0, 0, 0, 5, 5, 5, D0D. I don't even know what these are going to look like. Do. We can echo those. Now that will go kind of fast. Let's put the $I or $C here. There we go. So we should probably put like a sleep 1. I don't want to like create like a flash like seizure warning for you guys. Oh, wow. That's kind of cool. So it just changes through them right there. Okay. So I could wrap this whole thing in a while true if I wanted to, like this. And then it will just run forever. That's kind of cool. I don't really know why you would want that. I mean, it's cool you can change it programmatically. I think one of the coolest things about being able to change it programmatically is I could, in my bash RC, for instance, have like a set theme function, and then it will just completely theme the terminal for me, where I don't have to worry if I was using iTerm or Ghosty. I can just have my terminal be able to set this, as opposed to having to worry about a terminal specific, like terminal program specific config file. I could just have a script that sets this. That's really neat. Now it does set it for the entire terminal, so it's not like I could use it on somewhere else where I download ANSI escape sequences from the internet, which I've showed you guys before. So if you're looking at hotdogstand.ll, you might also want to check out ysap.sh. This is my website. Look, you can see I'm pointing here right on the video, curl ysap.sh. This is why. It's my website here. Someone pinged me about my website being less than 80 or greater than 80 columns. Hey, look at this. I shrunk it a little bit, so now it fits comfortably into 80 columns. It is less than 80 columns. Might actually be exactly 80 columns. I don't remember. But it fits comfortably in there, and this works in largely the same way. Now, I don't give you commands that change the color palette. I just output color codes. You could pipe this whole thing to Viz if you wanted to, and there's a lot of stuff here. Feel free to break this down as you want. I have a whole video breaking down how I make this website, but that's basically how it works. These ANSI escape sequences are read and understood by your terminal. The terminal, in my case, iTerm2, is the one responsible for this. By contrast, if I were to pull the HTML page, my terminal doesn't know what to do with HTML. It just looks like HTML. My browser does. This means something to my browser. You know what doesn't mean something to my browser? This. This does not mean something to my browser. ysap.sh / index.txt. This doesn't mean anything to my browser, but it means something to my terminal. So that's what's going on there. ANSI is understood by your terminal the way HTML and like JavaScript and stuff is understood by your browser. Hopefully that distinction makes it make sense. So what about the party then? Because we talked about, what was it? Party.hotdogstand.lol. We could pipe it to Viz or something. Two things, we need the redirect and we also need -N. This tells curl not to buffer anything. That's because the server is giving us data and there's no like new line or anything obvious to unbuffer it or to drain the buffer on. So we just need this. So this will just show us the raw data as it comes in. The downside is I'm realizing Viz might actually buffer its output. Is there like an unbuffered way to do this? Is XXD? Oh, that's horrendous. I love this. This is amazing. Okay, there's a lot going on here. When you curl something and you pipe it, it creates, I don't know if you noticed that. I'm gonna show you this real quick. You might not know this. When I curl this and then I pipe it to like, let's pipe this to XXD, notice that it created a progress bar. Oh, wow. Okay, there's a lot there. Notice that it created a progress bar up here. That's because it detects that it's being piped. So let's go ahead and hide that progress bar because that can be confusing. If you man curl and you look for progress, that's what the color palette is. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay, hold on. We're learning here. When I changed the color palette of everything to red earlier in the video, it's being picked up here. What if I change this to like FF00FF? Change the, oh. Wow, that looks really nice, actually. I actually kind of like the way that looks. I didn't intend for this to spark something in me to go set like a theme or something for my stuff. This is really cool. I'm gonna have to mess with this. This is awesome. This is why it's awesome to have a friend like Bad Cop, because she just comes up with the weirdest stuff and then I get to benefit by getting nerd sniped by it. And then I get to show all of you guys it. So I appreciate that. If you appreciate this kind of content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We're trying to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. At the time of this recording, I have 89,000 subscribers. That means I'm going to hit 100K in the next 2 months at my current trajectory, although it is slowing down, so maybe I'll eat these words later. Either way, hit that subscribe button. I would love it. Yeah, let's keep working. This is so cool. I didn't know that's what that would be. I have so much digging to do in this. What is using that color then? Because those aren't normal colors. Oh, it is. Okay. You know what it is? It's because my prompt over here uses all 256 coloring, so I'm not using the 0 through 8 or the 0 0 through 15 for the ANSI and the bright ANSI colors. That's what's happening here. I guess I just changed all these without realizing it. Okay, that's really, really cool. Yeah, so if you watch these videos and you're like, oh man, Dave knows everything, I really don't. And I'm glad I get to learn like with you guys as you get to see this whole process. I think that's actually really cool. So hopefully it's valuable to you guys. This is really cool. I completely forgot what we were doing. We were piping to XXD with hotdogstand and we get a nice purple color. Okay, the progress bar. There's got to be a way to turn off the progress bar. I think there is. Yeah. Oh, wow. I won't be able to see it because it's like highlighted, but I think I got it. I think I saw that it was no progress meter. No progress meter. Okay, cool. Let's do that. I think curl also has a silent, but let's do no progress meter. There we go. Now we can see what's going on with the hot dog stand. Wow. I don't think this was intentional, but bad cop, you have created some beautiful art over here. Look at this. Okay. We have to break down what's going on here, though. Let's rerun it. I'm going to show you a real scientific and YSAP-approved way to do this. Once it pauses for a little bit, we're going to spam enter, spam enter, spam enter, spam enter. There we go. Okay, so now we have different blocks of what it sent to us, so we can compare the differences of them. So we can see that we have red as the first color here, red as the first color here. Oh, we are not... Oh, you know what? XXD is going to be doing a little bit of buffering. So yeah, 708 got buffered up here and then it paused. So XXD is actually doing a little bit of buffering. So this was before the pause because it was 708 was the last one. Then we have this 4 here. So this is after the pause. So we'll have to do a little bit of work there, but take a look at this. Red, and then this one is, you know, yellow, 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 yellow. Take a look at this. Yellow, red, red, red. That's exactly what I thought would happen. It's just alternating between the two. We're going red and yellow, and then everywhere there's red and yellow, we're just swapping them. And the server is sleeping every second and giving us that data. That's all that's happening there. It's a super simple way of doing it, but it creates this horrible effect. Oh my God. Okay. What we can do though, I feel like we have to honor hotdogstand.lol by putting it in the background. And while it's running, we have to also run this, right? Yeah, there we go. That's beautiful. This looks so terrible. All right, I'm not going to subject you guys to this. This is terrible. Let's kill that. Reset. Remember, if you ever get in a weird situation with ANSI escape sequences, you could try tput reset. And if your terminal has it, it might just actually have a reset command, which is like a heavier version if tput reset doesn't work for you. It does not reboot your whole computer. Some people think it does. It does not. Don't worry about that. That would be the reboot command, and don't run that. It probably won't work without escalated privileges, but in the world of... Let's not even risk that. Let's not even try to run it without our escalated privileges. Let's just avoid that command, okay? We don't want to accidentally reboot the computer, especially because I'm recording on this machine. The party hot dog stand with the no buffering.
Oh, you already did the party? Nice, okay.
Oh, yeah, I'm showing everything.
Yeah. There's no undo button.
Well, I'm going to teach people how to undo it a little bit.
Stay tuned, though. I might release, like, a Christmas one that, like,
Ooh.
has red and green or something.
Ooh, I like this idea. Oh, man. Well, you heard it here first, folks. We're going to have some fun new things coming down with hotdogstand.lol. How'd you even get that that domain? That's insane.
Yeah, so if you go to, like, Google,
yeah,
and you search for, like, domain registrar, and then you click on one of them, and then if you like type whatever you want like the domain to be, but then it's gonna be taken. So you're gonna want to like do that like 17 times in a loop until you find one that's not taken, and then.
I hate you. When you first started talking, I was like so into what you're saying. I'm like, I'm listening. I'm going to Google. Okay, and then I'm like, all right, okay, all right. So yeah, that is hot dog stand. It just sends down ANSI escape sequences to your terminal, and your terminal knows how to interpret them. It's really no different than ysap.sh. The difference is, of course, I use this as a way of giving information to the user that they might find helpful. Bad cop uses hotdogstand.lol as a way of, I don't know, terrorizing them in like a nightmare of awful colors. But yeah. Yeah, also don't forget ysap.sh/course is not real. I got that wrong. Course.ysap.sh. Listen, I'm good at this. I know what I'm doing. The complete bash scripting course. If you want to learn bash, go check out my course's website here. You can also curl it. There's not really useful information. There probably should be. If you're watching this video right now, when it goes up, it's going up sometime in March. I have cut the course up into 62 different videos, and I'm uploading. They're in the process of one a day is being uploaded to my channel, not alerting subscribers, so I'm not spamming you guys, but one a day is being uploaded to my channel. So there will also be a playlist if you want to go through the course, but you find a 7-hour video daunting. The playlist will be there. You can watch it that way. Each video is between like 5, 6, 7 minutes, so they're not bad. And also you can comment on the videos and they'll be relevant to that section. And of course, if you want to share it with your friends and you're like, you know, I want to share the part on regex, but I don't want to share the whole 7-hour video, timestamps can be awkward, so just share the YouTube video. There you go. It's also a way for me to, you know, double dip in that monetization and make some money on it. I'm not going to be making a ton, although I have made a pretty good amount of money on a course that I've given away for free. So thank you all for watching it. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you guys found this useful. And yeah, if you made it this far, I don't even need to tell you to subscribe because I know you probably already have. You're a super fan, so that's super awesome. I appreciate that. Of course, I have more videos coming on the horizon. Don't think I've forgotten about my Linux resource monitoring video that I made. I made one where we did CPU utilization in Linux. I have the next part 2 ready for that, and it's going to be network utilization. It's going to build off the foundations we built there. So that is in the works. Let me know what else you guys want to see. If you guys have any ideas for content, just put them in the comments. I'm always looking to find new things to talk about and what you guys enjoy. I'm always curious to what you guys think about this stuff. So yeah, and as always, of course, I gotta take a moment to thank my patrons over at Patreon. Thank you so much for your continued support. I appreciate that. Look at that. We have to scroll a lot now. That's super awesome. Eventually, we're gonna get to the point where I'm gonna have to make a scrolling marquee or something, and we'll deal with that when we deal with it, okay? But for now, I can scroll manually up and down myself, and it's really, really nice. So thank you guys for your continued support. I think that's super cool. If I change the colors, does it change it here? Because I did a reset before. If I did that, where was that crazy for loop? If I do this, oh, it just changes this color down here. Okay, well, interesting. Not exactly what I expected, but still kind of cool. Thank you all for your continued support. I appreciate it. And that's all I got for you. See ya.